Okay. So next topic, managing file archiving and compression. Okay. So for file archiving and compressing, there are various tools available. There are various file archiving tools. See, why I need to create file archives? First question is that. Number one is very commonly used tar, and another very popularly used is CPIO. These two are the tools which are very popularly used in terms of creating my disk archives or my file archives. A question is why I need to create my archives. Efficiently use my disk space. Second thing, just in case of any insurgency, getting my data back. Think of a scenario. There is a directory which is having some 500 files into it. Uploading these 500 files to your remote DR site is a real pain. You have to do upload one by one each and every file there. How good it would be if I can upload the whole directory in one shot. But if you talk about FTP utility, doesn't allows you to upload directories. If you talk about SFTP, secure FTP server, it also doesn't allows you to upload directories. So in that case, how I can make it possible to upload a whole directory then, or a set of directories, not just one. I need to send a whole bunch of folders, a bunch of directories and files to my remote location without worrying about losing any file in transit. I want to transfer a bunch of directories also, as well as I want to ensure that you get once and for all everything. It's not that I need to keep on sending one by one multiple files, and then I have to cross check with you. Okay, did you receive file 1? Did you receive file 10? Did you receive file 50? I don't want to get into that exercise also, as well as I want to transfer all my data in one shot. So in spite of sending one by one a file or directory, what I want is that when I want to send a collection of my files, collection of my directories, be forwarded to a remote location, we go on with the archiving tools. So archiving tools do what? They allow me to create a collection, a bunch. Archive means a collection of data. Archive of 2010. What does it mean in banking terms? This is a 2010 archive. You are from the banking segment. So what does this archive term means? That is information of 2010 year. Archive of 2013. It's a collection of all the data that we had in year 2013. Archive is collection. So archiving tools allows us to create my data collection. Now there are two methods for doing it. First is by using the tar archive. Tar is majorly used in our older days as a tape archiving utility. tar stands for my tape archive. Previously we didn't used to have these much big huge capacity devices. If you talk about 10 years or 20 years back down the line, we didn't had these much 1 terabytes or 20 terabytes or 5 terabytes of capacity of devices. At those times, the maximum capacity of a disk used to be, if you yourself remember the 10 years back, what was the maximum capacity of a disk? Year 2006. Maximum 40 GB, 120 GB, 256 GB used to be a huge amount of data. Going 10 more years back, year 1996, 20 GB, 40 GB used to be enormous. Isn't it or not? So during those time durations, my bank is a segment, banking is a segment, or finance is a segment where you have to retain data of last 10 years or 20 years for the federal inspection. At any point of time, a federal agency may come in and ask me, okay, give me the transaction records of XYZ person, while investigating a federal crime, while investigating a financial crime. Federal organization, my Federal Bureau of Investigation, they can come in at any point of time and can ask me for data of my previous years. Is it or not? It's very likely to happen. So, as a financial admin, as a financial segment, it is my responsibility, it is an enforcement on me from the federal government to maintain this information. I need to maintain it. If I am not maintaining, I am a culprit in their eyes, and I am likely to lose my financial licenses. So, tape archive tar was a utility that we used in that time durations for maintaining backups of my data over tapes, the magnetic tapes. These days you identify them by the name tape libraries. So we used to maintain this information using the tapes, the tape drives. We used to use the tar archive or the CPU archive. Tar is since those days, since the days of 1960s, when the Unix was a beginner, Unix was a kid. Since those days you are having the tar archive, the tape archiving utility. Okay. So for how I can use my tape archive utility, the thing is they don't provide me compression. If I am creating a tar archive of 20 GB of data, the archive will also be of 20 GB. So for compressing your data, we need to take help of file compression tools, which are very popular in the Linux world is my gzip, and uncompression tool is gunzip. Second is bzip2, bunzip2. Third is zip, unzip. Fourth is compress, uncompress. These are various tools available for compression of my data. Difference between all of them is the compression ratio that they provide. All of them are providing different compression ratio, and they follow a different compression algorithm. Accordingly, they give you a different compression. So first we need to create an archive, and then by the help of my compression tools we need to compress it so that I can send it over my network in small capacities. So with tar command we have various switches. tar-c create an archive, -v verbose, tar-x extract, tar-z include zip file in archive, tar-t list contents of archive without extraction, -f create a file based archive. Otherwise it goes directly to your tapes. It goes to the tape drives. Okay. Example, tar-c. I want to get the verbose information, I can use v. I don't want to get verbose, I can simply use cf. I want to create a file based archive. Okay. In a file by the name, let's say user data.tar. The extension is not a requirement of the tar command, it is only for my identification. Followed by the directory of which I want to create a tar. Let's say I want to create a tape archive of all the users home directory. Whatever the users are, I want to create a tape archive of all their data. So -c will do what? Will create. F will include, will define it as a file data. That is, it will create an archive and will store that archive by the name userdata.tar. Okay. So let's see, let's try to check it if in case I am able to do it properly or not. Tar cf or -cf, you want to get it verbose, use -v also. Let's say userdata.tar of the directory /home. Okay. So here I have two users, user Vivek and user test user. I got in an archive of both the users. What is the advantage of this? The advantage is, let's say, accidentally, which one? My current working directory. Because I have given a file name. Whatever is the path you are going to define, it will be at that location. Check it. Userdata.tar. Okay. Let's say accidentally what happened is, the disk where we had this user's information or the partition. If we recall, we have done the things in terms of partition. Let's say the device where the user's home directory partition was, or the whole partition accidentally got deleted. The whole /home partition got accidentally deleted. Very likely. We have our /home and it happened like that, rm-rf /home/star. I am running a very deadly command. Don't ever try it on any of the production servers. You may have to search another job. Believe me. Running this command on any location which is having critical data may enforce you to search another job. You may have to write in your resignation there. This is a very, very deadly command. Gone. This is my test server, so I can play with it. Okay. Now, ls-la/home lost. The partition got corrupt. The disk got damaged. I don't have any of my users' data now. But because I have created an archive, I can restore that information back. Where? I'll have to just uncompress it to the location where I want to restore it. So I'm switching myself to the root directory. Okay. The same tar command for extraction, tar. Now this time I am going to use xf because x is extract. But before extraction, I want to check what all are the contents of that tar file. So tar-tf, where that file is into my home directory, userdata.tar. So this shows me the data is home, test user, Vivek. Okay. Let me just simply run tar-xf. Done. We got everything back. This is what archiving is. Even when you are checking your mails in your Outlook, you get an option every say 2 months or 3 months. It prompts you for archive your mail messages, archive your messages, send to archive.pst. Same thing is we are doing here. So using tar command, what we did is we created the archive of what? Of the /home directory. Now to send this archive to another location, what I can do is I can follow the next step. Currently, because I don't have much of data, the size of this file is just 30K. Think of a scenario where you have huge amount of data there. There are thousands of users in our organization. So obviously this file is going to be of huge capacity. In that case, the next step that we are going to do is we are going to use gzip what? User data.tar. Done. Do ls once again. Now you don't have a tar file, you have a user data.tar.gz. And if you check the capacity of this, how much compression it has done? 90% data compression has happened. Previously, what was the capacity of this file? 30K, reduced to 3.2K. Deadly compression it is having. Is it or not? So think of 30 GB of data that you have to send is now reduced to only 3.2 GB of data. This is gzip. I need to get this data back. G unzip. Sorry. Check it back again. There is no more a .gz file, and you got back your 30K of data. Another type of compression that you can use here is bzip2. User data.tar. This time it has used a .bz2 format. So there is a difference, slight difference between each and every compression algorithm. Zip uses another compression algorithm, gzip uses another compression algorithm, bzip uses another compression algorithm. So gzip has created a 3.2K of data, it has created 3.5K of data. Slight difference in the compression there. Okay, the same way I have to extract it, use the command bunzip2. That was gunzip, this is bunzip. We again got back our data. You could be using, in some scenarios there you have a file as zip, you have a utility called as compress. So you need to have that compress utility, you need to have that zip utility installed on your system. Then you can use compress, uncompress, zip, unzip. But most of the Linux scenarios, they come up with your zip and gzip and bzip2. These two utilities are available on all of them. Okay. Regarding tar and gzip, it's clear? Any confusion in that? Okay. Now coming to our next utility, CPIO. CPIO stands for copy input output. CPIO is my copy input output. It operates in two modes, -i in input mode and second is -o in output mode. So this is working in three modes, copy in, copy out, and third mode is your pass. The thing is, copy command, the CPIO command doesn't works like my tar. The CPIO command always demands things in pipeline. It demands input or output in pipeline formats. That is, the output has to be piped. So let's say I need to create my home directories backup. So what I'll do is ls hyphen capital R slash home will pipe its output to CPIO. I am creating, so we'll be defining it as hyphen O output mode. Okay. ls hyphen R slash home will list each and every file. Hyphen capital R is recursively go through all the subdirectories there. Okay. So ls hyphen capital R slash home will list me all the subdirectories of the slash home, pipe its output as an input to the CPIO command. CPIO hyphen O define it, that is activate the output mode, and I need to store into a file. So CPIO works in piping and redirection. We'll do what? Redirect the output of this to a file, let's say /tmp slash user data.cpio. So let's try to run this command if we are able to generate it. ls minus capital R slash home. See what is the output of this command. It shows me everything till the end of those directories. Okay. So ls minus capital R, pipe its output to my CPIO command hyphen O in output mode and send it to /tmp slash udata.cpio. So what it says, CPIO start no such file, I have a blank line ignored. Okay. That is premature because I is reading when I am extracting it, O is when I am creating the extract. Okay. What else I can do? How we can make it? Let's try to check it in this way. Yes. I want to find all the files which are having their name as .conf. I want to take a backup of all my system configuration. sysconf.cpio, and let's say find in my /etc all files having their name as .conf, send its output to my CPIO command and let that be stored into it. There is one very basic difference between CPIO and tar. Tar can include directories, CPIO cannot. That's a limitation with CPIO command. It's a copy input output backup, but it can take a backup, it can create an archive of only files, not of directories. So here what it did is it created in a archive. When I need to extract this archive, at that time I'll have to use just the reverse of it. How? Let's say mkdir, I'm just for the sake of testing, I'm just doing it mkdir, say sysconf cd to sysconf, and here CPIO into my input mode. Now this time we are going to do an inward redirection. When we created an archive, we did an outward redirection. When I'm reading data from our archive in input mode, we are going to define tmp slash the sysconf.cpio. Okay, and let's check. It says that these files are already existing, so newer or same age file version exists, I cannot recreate it. Restoring it back to the path where we have done that. From wherever you created, goes and restores back to the same path. Let's do it in this way, cd slash home This CPIO can be executed by any user. It's not necessary to be executed by your root only. Okay. I'm connected here. ls, oops, everything is cd slash disk2. A lot of files are here. Okay. ls pipe cpio -o greater than /tmp slash mydata.cpio. So whatever I have files, I can get that. Okay. rm minus f all files are gone. rm minus f everything is gone. Okay. CPIO. Now this time working into input mode. Inward redirection tmp slash mydata. Okay. Everything came back. All my dummy data files also came back. Got it? So either you are using the CPIO backups or you are using your tar archives. In both the scenarios, you can create in your files. So now in this case, if I check my ls-l slash tmp slash asterisk dot cpio, so this mydata.cpio is 101 MB. I need to send it to my over my internet, or I need to send it over my network. gzip tmp slash mydata.cpio. Now there is no CPIO file existing. You have only gz file. 101 MB of file reduced to size 102 kilobytes. See the deadly compression. Okay. But if you will try to compress it once again, the size will be increased. If I try to do now bzip2 slash tmp slash mydata.cpio.gz and ls minus lh slash tmp slash my star. Now what is the size? What is the size now? 2.5K. 101 MB of data. Now it's present to you in 2.5K. You can send it as an email attachment to anybody. Does any of the mail servers support this much of data transmission? No. Even Gmail doesn't support you more than 25 MB of data. Is it or not? You cannot attach more than 25 MB of data on Gmail. But yes, using this you can do it. Did a gzip compression, then added binary zip2 compression on it. 101 MB of data reduced to 2.5 kilobytes. Isn't it amazing? It's an amazing thing. Plus you can send huge amount of data there. Got it? So that's how we can use our compression and archiving. Okay. Now only one topic is left for this, that is my file permissions. Firstly, you finish up to this quota level, then I will talk about file permissions, because file permissions requires me to have your attention. Basics of file permissions we have already talked: read, write, execute, owner, group and all. I need to understand, I need to explain it in more details. According to your book, 1 page, 2 page, 3 page, file permissions are gone. Yes, sir. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pages and the whole file permission is gone here. I am talking about chmod, chown, chgrp, then chattr, set facl, get facl. It's a part of your chapter 4. It's finished. Are you doing exercises at home? You need to literally practice a lot for clearing the exam. Because in exam you are going to get only the concepts. Conceptual questions will be there. And you will be able to answer those questions if and only if you have done the practice. If you have not done practice, you will not be able to answer the questions. You can just try it by solving the exercises next to every chapter without referring the answers. It will be a simulation based exam. It could be an exam coming up as multiple choice questions. MCQs will be there, where you will be presented 2 options, 3 options, 4 options. Might be, the thing is, only one answer is correct, might be there are more than one answer correct. So there would be written as choose all that apply. Might be 2 are correct, might be 3 are correct, or might be there is option written as all of the above, none of the above. No, it's not answer, unless or until everything is correct, and 70% is the passing marks. 70, that is out of 1000 you should have 700 marks. Then you will be considered clear of the exam, and it's a huge bet. If you are not practicing going for the exam, you are purely betting $188. One attempt, no second attempt there. Single attempt, cleared, okay, you are granted LPIC1 certificate. Not cleared, repay $188, again give the exam. There is no second shot, unless or until there is a scheme going on there. So you have to literally do a tough practice. Your book is giving you references for sample papers, is giving you sample test engines. Just refer those sample test engines, go to the website, do all the practices. Practice, 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 and only practice. Create your own VM in your personal laptops, personal computers. Do as much practice as you can. Try to solve each and every exercise in it. Try to solve all the multiple choice questions without seeing answers.